Hello and welcome back. It's me. It's my face. You get a face video. Isn't that weird? So there's a lot going on at Desks and Dorks. I want to talk to you guys about some of the cool stuff that's happening. But first, one of the cool things that's happening right now is that we are doing a game jam, or we have done a game jam, I should say. So a while ago, in the early days of the Desks and Dorks channel, we used to do contests all the time. People would suggest YouTube videos. That has since been phased out because of the polls, which is cool because I feel like I get more feedback from all of you about what you would like to make. But somebody was asking, hey, we don't do contests anymore, and someone pointed out, hey, we should do a game jam. Shout out to Iron Bones, one of our moderators, who was like, hey, let's do a game jam. And so we did. We put it up to a poll internally on the Discord. Again, link to the Discord in the description below if you want to join us for the next one. And the theme was rats. Now, before I get any further, you can actually get this entire anthology. It's about 16 games for absolutely free over at the Desks and Dorks itch.io page. The QR code will be at the end of the video. The links, and they're in the description below if you would like to get it, but it's absolutely free. And I just want to highlight some of the cool stuff that I made, that my fellows made, and just direct you to that kind of stuff. And then there's a special announcement at the end for those of you who did participate in the game jam, so please make sure that you stick to the end. So in terms of the game jam's overall theme, rats won. It was between two rats, and then After the Rain, which would have been fun. It would have been interesting to see how people riffed on my first game, but you know what, rats was a pretty great theme. And I just want to highlight some of the cool things that I saw. I really liked Rat King, which would be right here if I do my job right. You can see this. I love this sort of hastily scrawled MS Paint art. Like, this does a lot to show you, I think, like how you don't have to have like a really great degree of professional assets to make something really compelling, right? The idea of this game is that we're all kind of linked together in this weird sort of like absolutely scuffed relationship, and that art kind of illustrates the form of that game really, really well, to a point that I very, very much enjoyed it. So again, a great thing of presentation. I Smell a Rat, probably my favorite interpretation of this theme. There were a lot of people actually who took rats not literally and turned it into like, well, what kind of thing are we talking about? You know, what could rat potentially mean? I Smell a Rat was one of them, which had you taking on the roles of bosses and underbosses within the mafia, which I thought was really, really intriguing. In terms of like my favorite use of assets, I thought Game of Crumbs was absolutely adorable with its tiny little like rats crawling around. And I love that there's this concept of like, there's a focus on what do items do in the view of a rat, right? Like a rat might look at a spoon and be like, this is something really cool. I wonder what this would be. How would this work? And what would a rat think of in regards to that? I, of course, have to give a shout out to some of our members who, this was their first ever game. Shout out to Luke Burke, who made Of Rats and Royals. I think this is Luke's first game. I think a bunch of people in the Discord, this was their first ever game. So I get the honor of publishing their first game, which is pretty cool. Rats in a Barrel, I really much enjoyed. If you have not checked out Rathala by Ignacio, this one was really interesting just because the idea, it just seems like you're just like speed running through a rat conqueror's life, which I very, very, very much enjoyed. Special shout outs to get to Rat Dash, which again should be right here if I do my job right, which has like essentially a rat sorry board, which is absolutely hilarious, and came with a disclaimer of saying, "Hey Kyle, I'm sorry. I know that you hate I know that you absolutely hate and despise sorry style games, but I made one anyway." There was a lot of competition for best title. I particularly liked Rats in a Cage. That was really, really, really quite good. Huge shout out to Chris Bates, who made Remove All Traces Service, which is essentially like a special ops cleaners, but rats is obviously the acronym, which I thought was a really creative way to do it. Rat's Nest was really good. Rat King, we already mentioned that. Trench Rats was really good, but I have to be honest, if I'm going off of one particular system that I really loved, one name that I really enjoyed, it was Gym Rats. It was Gym Rats by our good pal Twin Steel. Twin Steel usually is on the hunt, on the quest for fantastic house rules, but the idea of just being a rat in a gym and just trying to pump iron in that way, I think is like one of the best things imaginable. Some of you might be saying, hey Kyle, what about your game? What did you said you made a game for the Game Jam, right? I did, and I'm just going to give you some hints because I really want to encourage you to go check it out. So for my Game Jam, whenever I design something, I really like to challenge myself. And so I challenged myself by doing something that I was familiar with, something I liked in the game, and something I was unfamiliar with, something that was relatively new for me as a designer. And so for the thing that I was familiar with that I picked, I love Jenga towers. If you've watched this channel for any length of time, you know that I particularly love Dread. It's one of my favorite things, one of my favorite games. I think it's like probably the single best RPG to teach people who are new to role-playing games, because the Jenga tower just presents such a concrete evidence of like the consequences of your actions within the narrative. I think that's a really great system. So I chose a Jenga tower, but I don't do a lot of solo RPGs. And so I decided that I was going to do a solo RPG about rats using a Jenga tower as its main mode of functioning. And that's all I'm going to tell you about it. If you would like to check out The Gutters, which was the name of my game, you will have to do so by looking at the anthology itself. With that being said, a huge thank you, a sincere thank you to every single person who participated. It really does mean a lot to all of you who came out and joined. This was awesome. Thank you again to everyone that like contributed their ideas and was throwing stuff out. I mean, it was probably the most animated I have seen the Discord in like a hot minute. And two really important announcements if you've made it this far. One, this is our new cover illustration. This is what I commissioned from Smoke Cellar, who does some of our phenomenal channel art. I'm actually going to put it right here. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. You can see it better there. But yes, this is what I commissioned Smoke Cellar to make. It's a phenomenal piece of art, and I'm grateful to actually have it on the, not just for us to use for Desks and Dorks, but to have it like be the cover of our first ever Game Jam. If you would like to participate in future Game Jams, like I said, the Discord link is below. But I have one more special announcement. Hello, it's Future Kyle. What a jarring cut. So the original surprise that I had planned for the Game Jam unfortunately could not pan out due to some difficulties on the publishing side of things. This happens sometimes, and that's okay. But I still wanted to be able to give back and sort of show my appreciation, my love, and my excitement that the community wanted to get involved at this level. So not only are you going to be able to get the Game Jam absolutely free, but if you've been on the fence about any of our $1 RPGs, Red Panda Redemption or Becoming Banana Bread, those will be free for the next couple of days as well to download over on the itch.io page. This is my thank you to the community. I figured, you know what? If we're doing a one-page jam, I might as well put my money where my mouth is a couple times over, and I might as well give some of you some of my favorite one-page jams that we did, some of the stuff that helped build us a little bit. So for the next couple days, those will be absolutely free over on the itch.io page as well. The link of it is again going to be right there if you want to go download any of the games that we talked about today. But again, I'm Kyle Ott for Desks and Dorks. You guys are absolutely amazing. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.